In a world, 4 friends, 1 mission, to bring freedom to everyone involved.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Doing a thing for the podcast.
Dude, just say the name.
Fine. It's the Freedom Friends podcast.
Oh man, we had such a great intro.
It was a great intro. Should we try it again?
Intro.
Ready? Here we go.
Are we starting now?
All right, we're
For
going.
the third time.
Are you sure?
This will be the third time.
Okay,
Thanks, Justin.
I'm going to count it down. We'll start. Ready?
All right,
Ready?
let's do this.
In 3, 2, 1.
Mediocre at best.
We're back with mediocre at best content, everybody. Welcome to the Freedom Friends podcast. As always, we are still mediocre. Nothing's changed.
Had a great intro.
It was really good.
This one might not have been too bad. I think we recovered.
I think
we totally got to
that.
blame Justin for this one.
Pivoted well.
We got to notice something. We got a very special guest in the Warfighter studio tonight.
A bona fide.
Special.
Like we had to roll out the ramp.
Yeah.
A bona fide.
It was a red
friend of
ramp,
freedom,
but
in
it's
my
still
opinion.
a ramp. Mr. Tim Jensen, sir, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yeah.
Doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on the program.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence here at the Warfighter Tobacco Studios here at the Freedom Friends podcast.
I mean, you are a busy guy. Like, you're a very, very busy guy. You travel a lot for work. Those of you who don't know, Mr. Jensen here is the CSO at Gruntstyle, who he's a busy guy. He's a big deal. He's a big deal to a
And
lot of people.
we do appreciate your time.
I just wanted to come hang out with you guys because you guys are always at the shop.
Yeah.
And I thought it was appropriate that I come and see how you guys are doing.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
So you're just here to check on everybody, is that what
I'm just doing my rounds.
It's a recon mission. That's what it is. He's playing recon right now. That's what's happening.
Rumor had it there would be whiskey and cigars
right.
here. So.
So I'm like a moth to flame.
That is kind of a that is kind of
flock to maim.
That's a little recovery,
incentive,
Jazz.
Yeah. Yeah, but you guys had a crazy weekend. Why don't you tell us about it there, Jazz?
Tim and I went on a wonderful weekend getaway to Tahoe and hung out at a condo together.
Oh, this
It
is
was great.
I mean, it sounds just magical.
I think,
We had a rad bromance.
I think Esmeralda thought we were partners.
Yeah.
She offered us a fine bottle of red wine.
She did. She did. It was no, we went out and we got to
Talk
spend
about
the
the
weekend.
fucking odd couple. Jesus.
It was weird.
Right.
It was. I'm pretty sure weird.
A 6'2" bearded man and a 5'7"
5'7".
5'7".
Yeah.
It was a
Baby bearded man.
baby beard.
By the way, I appreciate that you're growing it out. I think it looks great.
I'm not really growing it out so much as I'm just being lazy about trimming it. It's not really.
It's kind of been like that for a while now.
Yeah, this is kind of the
I
length
think
it's
that's
always
how
been.
all of our beards have started. We
Yeah.
just got tired of shaving.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that most of my friends have terrorist beards like you three, so I can't. I've decided I can't grow mine out because then
I'm with you.
then everybody's just gonna be like, "Oh, you're
Right.
just trying to look like Mikey, huh?" And I'll be like, "No, I actually just don't enjoy shaving."
I like the fact that John gets accused of being our logo all the time.
Nonstop.
And
every day.
nobody's ever
Yeah.
accused me of being the logo. I kind of appreciate that.
I just like that John's been accused of being the show Terp. Like, I think that's actually my favorite part.
yeah.
Of
I mean, look at him.
I've been accused of a lot of things in life.
I mean, I can just imagine what you guys are looking at from that side of the bar. You're looking at it looks like the Taliban over here, just like it's like an elders meeting.
Did you bring the chai?
Yeah.
No business
Shy
starts.
boy.
If that's what you were on to how to start the show.
The Chai Boys, Justin.
God, I can't wait to put a dick on the screen. So, you mentioned earlier that there would be whiskey and
Yep,
cigars.
time out, but you guys went to Tahoe.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we left off at cuddling. And
yeah, you guys were a couple.
I didn't say we cuddled. I just said
So-
there was a rad bromance in Tahoe.
It was interesting. Let's start with the what was that? It wasn't an Airbnb that we stayed at. It was like a resort condo.
So
or
I
something.
found it through hotels.com
Yeah.
thinking it was just going to be like another whatever. And it was listed as like 3-bedroom condo or whatever, close to everything. Da, 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 da. So I book it, get the email for confirmation, call this number, and they're like, okay, we're going to email you the directions on how to get the keys. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? So we get there, get directions to go to this office. We walk in, and this local named Esmeralda.
Yeah, she was lovely.
She was very nice. And And yeah, I totally. We walked out to the car and we were like, I'm pretty sure she thought we were here like together, not like we traveled there together. But
That's
we're
what happens
like,
when you hold hands, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
I kept telling them. I kept
Throw
telling
people
them.
off.
So we get there and she's like, all right, here's your keys and da 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 da. By the way, don't leave anything in your car that is like food or anything, and make sure you lock all the windows and all the doors because the bears have figured out how to open everything.
Yeah.
So don't leave anything where like anybody can smell it or whatever. Other than that, have a great stay. And we were like, what do we do if there's a bear? And she was like, don't run. It was like all the direction we got to do about the bear. It was just don't
I think she
run.
got a little offended when I said, "Can we shoot it?"
Yeah. She's like,
Well, I
and
mean,
then she said,
you were in California, man.
then
Of
she
course,
goes,
dude.
don't shoot our wildlife. We're actually in their space.
Yeah, yeah. Literally the words that came out of her mouth.
Yeah. So
That's when I knew we were behind enemy line.
Yeah, that's for sure, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's
So
that's a telltale sign right there.
But where's my safe space?
Right, exactly.
we drive out to the condo, open it up, and it was like the 70s. It exploded all over this place.
Yeah.
Like the dining room
It
table.
was
had
like a
those-
bad porno.
well, it was pretty horrible.
Down to the bed sheets.
Was it like was there like a themed in every room?
No,
No.
the
Anything
whole
like
theme
that,
in the entire thing was like the Brady Bunch, the porn.
Yeah.
Like it was rowdy. Like the dining room table had those
a lot of
acrylic
incest.
seats, like the clear
What? That
acrylic
fit in with
seats with the
today's
chroma.
Please tell me it's like 3-inch shag carpeting through the
No, I
floors.
was expecting that. Right? When I came in,
It was
and saw
close.
the paint on the walls. I'm like, ooh, this is. Yes, but it was 3 floors.
It was 3 floors. My room had that. It had a brown velour round
yeah.
chair that was only like 20 inches off the
When
ground.
you'd find it at
for you.
grandma's house.
That rotated, like it
Right.
spun and everything.
I think my grandma had that chair.
Yeah.
man.
Put quarters in it. Did it vibrate too?
No, it didn't vibrate. And then you had that footstool that looked like a bear, but
Oh,
was
yeah.
actually hairy.
The little bear. Yeah.
What?
We got plowed the night before, and I woke up and left it in front of his door.
Yeah. Open the door and there's just this fucking 2 foot long bear. in front
I
of
was
it.
expecting a little bit more of a shock from Jazz, but he's like, huh,
Let me get this right.
it's a bear.
Don't shoot our wildlife because we're in their space, but we'll make a fucking footstool out
Yeah,
of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got
It was strange.
Hey, you know, maybe that bear died of natural causes.
Sure.
You're like lead poisoning.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But the real reason we were out there is we had gotten invited to go to the Spartan World Championships. So the Spartan Racing, the obstacle course racing.
I see you guys wearing fancy medals.
And we went out and we actually ran the championship course. That's him jingling over there.
So
And got a
bling
chance to
on
run the championship course. And
earlier, you guys are saying that the course is supposed to be 8 miles. And you
That's what
ended
we
up-
were told.
And you ended up running 11.
11.2.
Now,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten a really good close look at the medals yet, but it looks like you got like 1 1/3 medals.
Yeah. So
Is that because you ran 11
little
instead of
bonus.
8?
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out the rules of this thing.
Yeah, this is Jazz. This is your world, man. Like,
Yeah.
what's up?
So. Yeah, well,
Those of you who don't know, Jazz is like a Spartan racing weirdo. Like he's one of those guys that's like, hey, this is my sport.
Yeah,
Some
I
guys like
travel around and
football.
do it.
I like running and doing crazy shit for obstacles. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like
we
a
went
little
out there.
Spider monkey.
I'm telling you, man. I've
We
said
went
it on
out
the
there and,
podcast before. Like this is the sleeper cell. This is the one that people are like if we all walked into a bar together, they would like think that John and I were going to be the ones that were going to be fighting out of nowhere
Have I got a story?
off the top
I
rope.
got a story about that.
I think Jazz is he's my sleeper, dude. Like, whew.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish the medals discussion.
So-
and we'll jump right into
right,
the
so-
story.
Yeah, this
We got
sounds
invited to go
amazing.
out there, and it was an awesome weekend. We actually went as a work trip, and it was an awesome weekend. The guys at Spartan were outstanding hosts, but we did run it on Saturday, and it was freaking cold.
Yeah.
Like we went out there, it was I think top of the mountain was like 28 degrees, 20 mile an hour wind, and it was a 2,000 foot elevation climb, and then back down. And I don't even know what the percentage of grade was on that mountain, but it was mountain. I mean,
to kill a man.
yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a hell of a climb. And then myself, we weren't going to run it. The original plan was actually to go out there and just do the networking event and like hang out and watch the race. And we ran into some guys from the Air Force there.
And mind you, I haven't trained for any of that in like 15 years.
Yeah,
the
that's
last
yeah.
time I climbed a mountain was Mount Motherfucker in Pendleton.
Yeah, you're not a big runner. Yeah.
I don't run fucking anywhere.
The best way to do one of these
I'm with you.
races
I don't do that
is
either.
you just wake up and get off the couch that day, a little hungover, and you just go.
That's pretty much what we did.
Yeah, but that's I think exactly what we did actually. But
Chaz woke up, saw a bear skin stool in front of his door, and was like, "I'm going to run 11.2 miles." That's what happened.
So the takeaway, we do appreciate our participation medals. Then is what you're saying.
these are more earned than anything. But yeah, I mean they are kind of a
I participated in something that no person should ever do.
It was crazy. It was extremely hard. The water obstacle at the top of the mountain was just uncalled for though.
Yeah. And then
It's
you got these crazy,
you know.
you got these crazy fuckers that do this thing called Spartan Ultra. Right?
Yeah.
And these
those
fucking guys are out of their
Yeah,
mind.
so it was 3
Fucking-
laps
right?
of the beast course. So it was like their race was 39 miles.
Yeah.
And the lap leader of that one literally passed Tim and I twice.
Jesus.
The second time the guy runs past him like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
That is not what you said. The second guy that
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure Tim blacked out at some point on the mountain. Was just like,
Well, that's
if I just check
understandable.
out, then I don't know the kind of pain I'm in. The second time the dude passed us, Tim rather loudly went, "The fuck's wrong with you?" And at one point, accused me of trying to kill him,
Yep,
and then
it's
also
true.
admitted that he just flat out hates me.
I think I told my wife that if I die, she can have all my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, last will and testament, all that kind of stuff. It was. He had
So back to this story you were about to tell,
Jesus
the bar.
Christ.
And,
Oh, okay, yeah. So we get there. I mean, it's a sleepy little town. It's Kings Beach, I think was the name of it. And we asked Esmeralda, is there a place to get a drink around here? And she's like, oh, you're going to want to go to the Grid down in Kings Beach. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. And
This is the same Esmeralda that thinks you two are together.
yeah, so she probably we were anticipating going
She
to some
set you up
gay bars.
gay
so
bar.
good.
Yeah.
But we get there, and it's all the locals, and snowboarders, skiers, burnouts, so on. And we're having a couple drinks, and karaoke starts. I was like, "Ooh, I like the karaoke," and I didn't know that Jazz was a karaokeer.
Nice.
I've known to throw down on the karaoke machine.
Yeah, yeah. I got up there saying one song. The next thing you know, he's up there doing like 4 or 5 bits.
Fucking yoke.
And then they start saying, I don't know who sang. I think it was. Did I sing the country song? But it wasn't really country. It was Commander Cody.
It was Commander Cody doing Hot Rod Lincoln. That's
Yeah.
not really country.
So the locals are like, these fucking Texans bringing this country music to our bar.
Oh.
And that's when Jazz is like, say what? I saw a whole different side of Jazz.
Nice.
And like through the rest of the night, it was just progressively getting worse to where he was getting higher. Right? He was like kneeling on the stool, the bar stool, just looking over at people with his chest all puffed out like a gorilla. Like he's about to launch himself out the top of this thing.
I'm fucking
I'm
telling
like,
you.
what the fuck is wrong with you? He's
I've
like,
been saying it for months.
he's like, Tim, I think we can clear like 3 or 4 of these guys. I can get 4 of them by myself. You get the rest. I'm like, oh, all right.
Like, I've been saying it for months, dude. Jazz he's like a fucking CIA assassin in a tiny body. Right? Like he's just gonna fucking go off.
Tim
one day
informed
and
me
just-
the next day that apparently at some point I turned to the bartender and said, "What
Oh,
happens if I start a bar fight?"
Well, what would the bartender say?
He's like, usually we just let it work itself outside. Most people end up by the garbage can. I'm like, well, that's good information.
That's a really good answer.
how many have ended up in the garbage can?
Yeah, so it was a fantastic evening. So if you're ever in Lake Tahoe, check out the Grid down at Kings Beach.
On Thursday evenings.
Yeah,
That's a
they put
karaoke
a
night.
hell of a karaoke show.
Nice.
Nice.
And the men there are pretty weak. So if you want to clean the bar out, you can do that too.
I think we could have gone full Viking in that bar.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Freedom Friends Road Show. Just
Yeah.
watch us wreck people on Freedom.
Yeah.
So we got to go to the Yellow Rose in Austin apparently,
I'm
and then
telling you.
off to Tahoe to hit up the Grid.
Dude,
Put the check mark in that box of every podcast we've mentioned it now.
What, the Yellow Rose?
Yep.
Just trying to keep things consistent.
Dude. Telling you.
So
Place is
yeah, so we had
wonderful.
a decent way. How was the rest of y'all's week? We've been chatting all about us.
We had a crazy.
We had a
weekend.
crazy weekend. Yeah. Yeah, John, you had a. Well,
I had,
first we did the Grunt
Yeah,
Style
we did,
Social.
we did the Grunt Style Social on Friday. So that's the last Friday every month at Grunt Style's headquarters in downtown San Antonio.
Good time.
Awesome time. They Bravo Company barbecues down there. They're fucking. I don't know how they do that brisket mac and cheese.
That mac and cheese
But I
is
need to
amazing.
figure that
Shit should be
out.
illegal. It's
That is
ridiculous.
That's
unreal.
really good.
And then they're hanging out down there. They had Hero Sports, Border Patrol. They had a whole bunch of people down there this
a couple
past
new
one.
ones this time.
Yeah.
Fairways for Warriors,
Yeah.
Warrior Cry Music Project was
Yeah.
there. Yeah, we had a good turnout.
Sounds like it was a good time.
It was,
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
And then
Well, we weren't running a fucking half marathon in the snow. I know that.
I think I had more fun.
great time. And then Saturday, I actually had to go out to Houston to do an event with Cigars for Warriors at the the He-Man Woman Haters Club. It's actually called the Warehouse Cigar Club of Houston, but their initials are WHC, and it was originally called the Woman Haters Club because it's a male-only cigar club.
Nice.
But any of the members can bring women, but they can't have women be members. And all the women that were in there, I asked them, I'm like, how do you guys feel about this? Do you want to be a member? Like, fuck no.
That sounds like a missed opportunity. You could have called that club Sticks and Dicks.
Dude, for real.
I'm just saying.
What was
real.
Al Bundy's group? No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Yeah.
But no, we had a great night. We ended up raising about 4,000, a little over 4,000 cigars, and about $4,000 for Cigars for Warriors.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, and
not
there's about 45 people there. It's crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a great event. And then Sunday, what did I do Sunday? Sunday I linked up with an old Army buddy who lives out there and had lunch, drove back.
Is that what you guys call it now?
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah. He's a firefighter. If that makes any difference.
Putting out your flames.
Yeah.
They have great condos in Tahoe.
Going up and down your pole.
It's a 4-alarm fire.
Maybe you guys will meet Esmeralda. Who knows? Shit.
While you're in Tahoe, check out the grid. It's pretty good.
You know, in the 80s, before they called it AIDS, it was called GRID.
That's true.
Gay-related immune deficiency. That's true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why,
You are just a
why-
goddamn encyclopedia.
Dude, I'm
why do you
full
know
of
this?
useless shit, dude.
Wow.
Why do you know this?
Yeah, I'm more concerned of why you knew that.
Yeah.
It's because he's HIV plus.
Yeah, dude. Can't catch it twice. Zing.
Hey, at least he's not just sure.
So I'm pretty confident that everybody at this table is relatively clean. At least don't have anything that you can't like take an ointment for or something.
Yeah, right. Well,
Antibiotics got it all.
yeah. Little doxycycline and a shot of penicillin. You're solid.
So we lured old Tim Jensen here with whiskey and cigars.
Yes.
So I think it's about time we start talking about what Warfighter has provided for
Yeah.
us this week. So
This is cool,
one,
man.
We had to break
Kicking it old school.
Yeah, we had to kick it old school. So we got some of our original Dominican cigars. I had I don't know, maybe a bundle left
Yeah,
of
we
them.
had secret stash.
And so it is our original 762 Sumatra, made in the Dominican. Don't have too many left, so I thought it was a special occasion.
Yeah.
So what makes this different than the blends that you have now?
So
Everything. No.
Because I taste the difference.
Yeah,
I'm not
this is not
I'm
the
not a
same
cigar
cigar.
connoisseur.
well, I don't know if I've ever given you the new version of the same blend.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know if you've ever smoked that one.
This is the. It's
I'm
the
sure I'll be
762
leaving with one.
762 Field, right?
Yep,
762 Field, which is my favorite cigar that you guys
Right.
currently make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not the same.
No.
Yeah.
It should have similar flavor, but I guess the difference that, like when I was in Nicaragua trying to explain it to John of how the new factory was, same blend, I told him, I said, if you ever drink a flat Mountain Dew and then you get a Mountain Dew you just open, it's the same flavor, but there's difference in taste, kind of.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's kind of how I just had to describe it over the phone.
This
Yeah.
doesn't
I don't know,
have
man.
as much zest.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, I have to
Yeah.
say this is kind of the difference between like Dr. Pepper and Mr. Pibb.
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
like
There you go.
it's sort of the same thing, but
It's got
one is
22 flavors.
one is obviously superior.
This is the one that usually you get like pepper.
Well,
No, this is
no,
this is
no,
their-
that's our
cilantro.
Corojo.
this is
So,
their good, like medium-bodied, middle of the
The
road.
other big difference between this is the majority of the tobaccos in this cigar from the Dominican, and the majority of the tobaccos in our new cigars from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Who makes better tobacco?
It's subjective to whoever you talk to.
Yeah.
I like
the-
Nicaragua.
I like Nicaraguan tobacco too, but I think the factory is what makes the biggest
Yeah.
difference now for us.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice. Well, it's a great cigar, man.
Yeah,
So
nonetheless, it's
Still good. The retro is some of it's the age though, but the
Yeah.
retro on it is far more mellow than the current Sumatra.
yeah. This,
Yeah,
I mean,
But
big
some of
time.
that is going to be the age. You're just gonna lose a little bit. As
these
the
have
longer
been in
it
the
sits
humidor
around.
for probably 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
And you can tell that they've got some box life in them. Like they've
yeah.
They got some
they've-
age on them.
Yeah, they're a little bit more mellowed out.
You can tell the wrapper feels a little different.
Yeah,
Like
there's
even-
a lot more leather in this wrapper than
Yeah, when I pulled out and felt it, I'm like, man, I don't remember these feeling like this. But that's what a little age will do to a cigar.
But some of that may be impacted by the whiskey that John brought.
Whiskey.
John brought
Tonight,
whiskey.
so
to-
John brought
Today's whiskey
Whiskey.
is brought to you by
You should demonstrate by pouring some more into this.
Yeah, Scott's slacking on the whiskey. So today we're actually drinking the Jameson Caskmate,
the IPA
the
edition.
IPA.
Yeah.
And that's it. If you want to know how to make this drink, put ice in glass, pour whiskey over ice.
No
Goodbye.
bartender has ever fucked this one.
No,
up for
not
me.
shaken, not stirred.
Yeah.
Gently chilled.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
Yep.
but a pretty solid pairing, I have to say. Not so bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that brings us right up against one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yes.
The so no shit
So no shit.
section of the show. And as is tradition around here, because we've done it a whopping once, that makes it a tradition.
That's how traditions start.
Exactly. Is our guest gets the chance to tell a so no shit story.
And we're excited about this.
Yeah.
We've been
anybody-
contemplating this.
But
this
before
one.
we go
Has
into
anybody
this story-
explained to Tim how our no shit
We have.
stories work? Okay.
Sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
So to reiterate to the listeners,
Just give me time to think of one.
you wanna,
Before we get into this, why doesn't Tim give us a little background of like your military background? Like we're
Yeah.
like from graduation of high school.
Sure, yeah. So I graduated high school in the lovely state of North Carolina and knew that I wasn't going to go to college because I fucking hated school. And ended up joining the Marine Corps. Joined in 1997, went to the only place that they make Marines. That's called Parris Island. And
Mikey, did you go there?
I did not.
So that means you're not a Marine.
That's also where the women go. I'm just going to point that
because
out.
they're so hard, we can make women Marines too.
Yeah. Tell me about your guys' cute little bug problem that we always hear about in San Diego.
Yeah, I've humped all your mountains. It's fine.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
This is so awesome.
Like just watching the two Marines shit on
Oh,
each other. It's just incredible.
this is like going back since like 1860,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, is this that?
I'm just like more like 1930.
1930. Yeah.
Is this that whole who's got the better beach argument? Is that the
No. I mean, I just want to reiterate. It has been 15 years since I hiked the mountain, and I still did it, but a couple days ago. So don't give me that mountain bullshit.
How's your back feel?
Oh, I'm great.
You're full of shit. Oh, well, yeah.
They didn't have that in boot camp, but So yeah, I joined the Marine Corps in '97. My first MOS in the fleet was the good old Amtraks.
Yes.
Yes.
Tim and I share that lineage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Keep forgetting. So spent a lot
because
of
he doesn't
time.
count you as a Marine apparently.
He said
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Dude, this is welcome to the show, Tim. It's three Joes sitting on a jarhead fucking 80% of the
we're
time.
not shitting on anybody on this episode. You guys are doing just fine on your own.
Well, what I didn't realize
Making this shit show
is
worse.
that Marines drove trains. So
Yeah, I didn't know.
No, that's the wrong Amtrak.
oh shit.
That's with a K. Ours has an X.
Yeah, that's right. We drive things that aren't allowed or supposed to float into the ocean.
Nice.
Off of a perfectly good ship.
The theory's there. The theory that they float.
So I did that for my time in the fleet. Got out in 2001 and went back to Chicago, or went to Chicago because my family was living there, and became a carpenter. 9/11 happened, and I was like, oh shit, man, I'm not a Marine anymore, and fuck, we're going to war. So I started the process of getting back into the Marines, and I went to the reserve side, which is a little bit different. But I have to tell you, the way that the Marine Corps utilized the reserve units during the 2003 through 2009 were probably some of the best Marines that I've ever had the honor of serving with.
Nice.
So I was with the 2nd Battalion, 24th Marines Weapons Company out of Chicago. And I was with their I&I because they didn't have MTO for anybody that was not an 0311. And so they were going to deploy. I'm like, well, shit, get me on this deployment. And they started me up for an OJT. And while we were in ILOC in California, training up to go, I got all my qualifications to become an infantryman. And
Awesome.
With my rank and my previous background in Amtrak's and small unit movements, I was put as a squad leader and led a group of Marines in combat 0405 in the Triangle of Death, and it was a lot of fun. But
I was going to say, it sounds really fun.
yeah, it was great.
So I got a question. So the Amtrak is, I guess what I thought it was is kind of like the Army has 11 mics, which is mechanized.
It's probably the closest to a Bradley. If it were,
Right.
Same suspension
Yeah.
as a Bradley.
Yeah.
But so you guys as an Amtrak, that's
Except
not infantry.
it's
You're a
support. Yeah,
so you're a
mechanized
driver.
infantry.
But you were a driver.
I was a
then?
driver. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
essentially,
So
it's like a Bradley, but it's supposed to float.
Yeah,
Correct.
So in other
That's
words,
probably the most apt description we can really give it, man.
so in other words, it's a Bradley, except for the Army's aware that tanks don't float.
I'll bet you. I'll bet you what happened.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a great explanation of how all this came about. It's kind of like the figure
It's
four.
I'm just gonna say this is
Kind of like the
probably
figure four. The Army's like, hey, we got a bunch of this shit and we don't know what to do with it. We can't get rid of it. Let's see if the Marines want it. One dude's like, hey man, tell them it floats. I'm like, done. And the Marines like, hey guys, get in, it floats.
Because that's exactly what I was thinking when I was going through schools. I'm like, 26 tons.
Yeah, it's terrifying the first time. You're
This
like,
doesn't
oh,
make sense, guys.
no, it's an
Don't worry
interesting
about it.
history of it, man. They were actually developed to rescue people during hurricanes. That's what they were originally developed for. And the Marine Corps was like, we want that. We need that. That's fucking amphibious assault onto a defended beachhead. Like that's what we need.
Much
that.
different
So,
from the LVTs.
much different from the LVTs.
So the real question here, it was developed to do hurricane relief. Did it ever actually do hurricane
Yeah,
relief?
the Marines did
I think
hurricane
just
relief during
recently,
Katrina,
yeah.
dude. We did it.
The
In Houston.
Amtrak unit out of Houston.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of military technology that I've seen that's like, well, it was originally developed to do this.
the Marines from
We figured out it doesn't actually do that, so now we do this with it.
Second A Battalion supports a lot of the humanitarian efforts in the Caribbean.
It's outstanding.
A lot of that shit goes down.
Do you ever see the video where they drive him off the fucking pier? Right
Oh
in the
yeah, that's part of training.
really?
Yeah,
Just from a fucking not. Like,
You know what?
doing like 40 miles.
That's
an hour.
that's the South Koreans that did that.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking
That's a
about.
great
That's
video.
that's South Koreans that did that because the South Koreans have the Korean Rock Marines.
Yeah.
Right.
They have Amtrak's as well. We go out and we dual train with those guys and stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we jumped them into the jetty at
Sure.
Del Mar a few times.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, John, that tank you were talking about being able to procure, does it float?
No.
So it's more like a submarine with wheels.
Oh, God. Well, see? It's even better.
How do you know?
Can't see me coming.
You've never tried it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that you can
You gotta be
actually
a
get the water
certain
out of
level
it.
of insane to be
Yeah.
on Amtrak's.
I'm telling you.
So is that one of those, like, it floats just because you believe it does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Click your heels together twice.
Hey, it's gonna be fine. Just put that hatch at 15 degrees. You're not gonna sink.
Yeah.
So now that the listeners know who you are and
Sure.
what your background is, what do you have? Do you have our?
Oh yeah.
So no shit there I was.
I got a no shit Amtracker story.
There we go.
I'll go back to my time in the schools battalion. No, I'm sorry. This is my first ship to shore movement when I was in the fleet.
Okay.
And when you're in schools battalion, you don't have a lot of ship to shore movements. You only do it like 1 or 2 times. So I wasn't really and I was just a young PFC, so I wasn't a master of this. And it's a craft, right? Because you're running against cross currents, and you got to go 8 miles out, and you're going onto the well deck of a ship, and they got the ramp down. You're coming in, they give you all this hoo-yah shit of you got Navy guys up there flagging you in. You got to do this, that, and the other. And it's contrary to everything that you were taught because they flag one way, and when that flag direction for what you know is to turn this way, right? So I've got that all in my head, and I'm just like, I'm getting out there, right? And we were about 4 or 5 miles out, and my bilge pump stopped working. I'm like, oh, well, that's a problem. and then my left jet propulsion system goes out. So I have to hard steer right to continue going straight, because if I just let it ride, I'd be drifting left and be doing circles. So I'm hard steering. My vehicle commander's like, "You better not fuck this up, man. There's a whole line of Amtraks behind you." I'm like, "Oh, I'll try, Corporal." And I'm driving, and there was a wicked cross current coming across the well deck. So I'm hard turning to get up there, and I kind of just let the wheel like bring me up onto the well deck, but it kind of spun out, and I rolled off the side. Right, the whole tractor goes flips upside down. It was black for like, I don't know, a couple seconds, felt like an eternity, and the whole thing rights back up, and
they are self-righting. They're self-righting.
Yeah.
So thank God they're so. It's because the tracks are so heavy that they self-right. But yeah,
you just hear all the shit in the back going. Slamming all over the place.
Did you have grunts?
No. It was just a ship to shore movement for the platoon, right?
That's good.
And so I'm fucking like freaking out, and the vehicle commander's freaking out. The platoon sergeant, Gunny, I forget his name, Lehman or something like that, some crazy fucker, and he's screaming over the net, and he's like, "Get back and call him," and I'm like, "Okay." I just let the fucking steering wheel go because I'm just now drifting left, and I go make this big circle, and I come onto the ship, and they're flagging. I'm already like stressed to the max, right? And so I'm like, I don't know which way to turn, and the guy's like, he's flagging left, turn right. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I'm like stuck on the tank or in the well deck, and I finally get it up, and I get up to the top, and I'm sitting there, and the vehicle commander, he's fucking screaming at me, and then the gunny comes over and starts beating me in the helmet with a ball peen hammer, like, "You dumb motherfucker," blah, blah. And I was terrified. I'm like, this is bullshit, man. This is my first time out, and I nearly fucking killed myself. But so there it was.
That's awesome.
Doing PFC shit.
That brings back a lot of memories. I don't feel bad, Tim, because like I was an instructor at School Battalion. That shit happens often, man. And then I spent 12 years in the Amtrak community, and I'll tell you, that's a normal shit. Like that's pretty.
Now you know why they're self-riding.
Bilge pumps are
Now you know why they're
probably
self-riding.
expensive. So.
Oh no! We were stuck on ship for 3 days because they didn't have the part. The maintenance guys didn't have the part.
Right.
So it was cool. I mean, I got to sleep on a ship, and got to eat the good Navy chow. I think it was on the USS Nashville, and
Nice.
all the hot Navy women.
Yeah.
No.
No.
You know what? The best thing I had a sailor.
Those were dudes, too.
It was an all-male ship.
So I was talking to a
same thing.
sailor one time. I was on deployment, and I was talking to a sailor, and I was like, "Hey man, like we were bullshitting the smoke deck," and he says, he's like, "I love it when Marines come on ship," and I was like, "Really? Like we make your chow line long. We're like, always in your way because we don't do shit. We're just in the way.
Right.
We're catching a ride, And like I'm like, really? You like it when we go?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "It's the only time the girls start wearing makeup." That's when you guys are on ship. I was like, "That's the greatest thing I've ever fucking heard, man."
That's nice of them.
It's the only time they shave, too.
Probably shit.
Like the mustache and everything else.
I'm telling you,
We
man.
have guests.
Gross.
Like, fucking silliness, man.
Put it on, girls.
So,
Coming on.
Speaking of Tim
The
being...
Marines, we don't need makeup.
That's true. I mean, Marines would fuck damn near anything.
Yeah. So speaking of Tim being an
That's why
incredibly...
Jazz hasn't shaved.
I hang around too many fucking Marines. Tim is an incredibly busy person, as you spoke earlier, and he's actually got a little pet project that he does that I think at least two of the guys on the show, actually all of us on the show, would probably think is a pretty cool thing. And it's funny because he just did the Spartan and was out there going like, "This sucks. It was long. It was hard. Like I was fucking miserable in the whole 9 yards." But you have a little endurance event you put on yourself that is has a ridiculous attrition rate as far as dropout and stuff, called the Mammoth Sniper Challenge.
Correct.
Which is going into its 5th year?
Shit. I think this is year 12.
Or 12th year?
Yeah.
Jeez. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the only civilian shooting challenge that takes place on a military establishment.
So it's the only long distance, sniper-based shooting competition that's held on a military base. Because you got like 3-gun that has gone.
Sure.
on,
Well,
the
sure.
Right.
So where I stand corrected is it's the only actual sniper competition
Correct.
that's open to civilian shooters on a military establishment.
So does it involve stalking, like stalking lanes and things like that, or is it just...
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things. Now, they're the Mammoth has started a long time ago by another group who had done an extraordinary job of putting this event together, right? He's a former Army Ranger guy, and he built this thing to crush souls, right? When myself and a good friend of mine tried it, was almost 3 or 4 years ago. It broke me off, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't even do the full competition where you're sleeping outside, because there's a couple divisions at that time. The second year we did it, and it was negative 22 below, and so it's 3-day event.
Yeah, I think the first thing is to lay out the parameters of this thing.
So
it's,
here's what it is. It's a 3-day event. You got to traverse 30 miles. You got to carry all your gear, all your sleeping, apparatuses, your cover, and all that stuff, all your rounds and your weapon, right? So you're taking this thing wherever you're going, and there's a certain mileage you got to hump every day at a certain pace count, and if you miss that pace count, you're automatically disqualified from the tournament. And
That's definitely Ranger shit.
yeah, it's bad, man,
Yeah.
and so it's. And then there's obstacles in between. So you're getting the whole gambit. You're hiking, sleeping in the elements, traversing long distances, negotiating obstacles right into a shooting stage, right? So you're getting this full stress to the max experience where it's testing not only your physical capabilities but your mental fortitude.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool to to assume this business. We took it over 2 years ago. And this is going to be, last year we got it onto Fort Gordon, so it was an extraordinary opportunity that we saw in front of us and we exploited. We made some great partners out there with the MWRM base, and they absolutely loved the competition. They have so Fort Gordon turned into a cyber warfare, and their rifle range has been kind of unutilized for a long period of time, and it's got long distance capabilities. So we worked it out with the range control to kind of get the land cleared out and get some opportunities to use that range. And then we looked at all of their the land and started mapping out routes. And this event is extremely difficult. The first day, 66 to 68% fall out. Right. Nice. If you miss a ruck time by a second, you're out. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts, no excuses. You can't petition the judges or the range officers.
And this isn't a standard ruck march either.
I'm already out.
This isn't like the 45-pound ruck. This is like
you're carrying about
200 plus
200
pounds.
gear.
Like it's, and you were telling me it's 300 plus rounds that are fired over those 3 days. Like it's not even like it's like 10 targets, and as long as you hit the 10, like you're good or whatever. Like it's like 300 plus rounds downrange on top of all that
and stuff too.
Oh yeah, all sorts of different stuff.
Nice.
Last year we incorporated
minus
pistol
the humping part.
Yeah, dude, if I could just do the shooting package on it, I'd be stoked.
So coming from the sniper background, right? I was a sniper instructor for a while, and I loved it, right? And then I got into the civilian PRS shooting, right? Mm-hmm. And it's more of a game.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I would love.
Now, for the audience, part of the audience that doesn't know, what is PRS shooting?
Precision rifle series. There's a couple new ones now, and there's a couple different things, but mainly you get to a stage. They tell you the distance, and they put you in some fucked up shooting positions, and it's timed. You got to knock down so many targets in however long, right? But people get these big pillow bags, and they get these fancy tripods and all kinds of shit. Right?
However
I've competed PRS.
Yeah.
However they can game it to.
I would love to have like a mandatory stage that was more like your sniper match for the PRS shooters.
Sure.
Because it would crush their souls.
But and the best part about it is you could just be like, you need to do a 2-mile hump with all your equipment, and half of the dudes that shoot PRS would die.
They would
die.
What do I not bring with me?
The one thing I hate about PRS, and I competed there for a little bit, and Grunstall had some presence in it. It's a great organization, right?
Yeah.
I'm not bashing it, but the thing that really kind of got me, less enthused about competing there was all the Jersey shooters. Right?
Yeah,
I don't really have a lot of care for Jersey shooters.
Well,
I used to shoot in t-shirt and jeans.
sometimes a kilt.
I did do one competition in a kilt.
Kilts are always acceptable.
With no underwear. I didn't distract everybody.
It's the only way to wear it.
If you're wearing a kilt and weering underwear, you're already wrong.
Right.
It was a little chilly that morning.
The pictures will not lie.
There you go.
But no, there's not really a tactical application for PRS.
Yeah, it's speed and position.
Yeah.
Right. How many rounds can you crank off in a short period of time? You spend most of your time setting your position.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're gaming everything. Because it's what I like different about, or what I like so much about Mammoth is that there's no opportunity for someone walking off the stage to go to you and say, "Hey, Scott, here's the range, here's some of the dope,
Right.
And this is what I would do." There's no time for that, right?
Yeah.
And that's all you see in PRS, the NRL, all
Yeah.
these other different leagues, right? And it's okay. I mean, it all comes down to the individual, and if the individual wants to participate in sharing that type of information.
Yeah.
But in Mammoth, you don't have that. You don't have that time, right?
Yeah.
It's more of like, oh shit, I got to get off this because I'm moving on to the next objective, and I don't have time to sit and talk to you, Mike, about how you're going to nail the targets on this course, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating. So that's why I really like about Mammoth, and again, it's a lot like Spartan, where if you complete Mammoth, it doesn't matter if you place or not, right? You've just achieved something that not a lot of people can say they've ever done before, right? And we make it really exciting for those that end. Last year we changed it up to where the first place winner won a boatload of cash. So it's the first place team. They got a lot of goodies, and then we made a championship wrestling belt.
Oh,
Right? Nice. So the belt is held at the commanding officer or the commanding general, his office, or the garrison commander. I don't know what they called it, and it's
Right.
Army shit. But he holds the belt in his office. It's got their name on it. And this year, the winners have to come back and defend the title.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
they get free entry into the race or the competition, and they have to defend.
That's
cool.
And you were telling me it's 100 teams this year, right? That are
100
competing
teams.
in January.
This year we sold out in less than 48 hours.
Where's it at and when?
Fort Gordon, Georgia, January 6th through the 9th of this year, 2020.
Nope.
And we're now. So last year we
You're not ready. You're not ready for that one, John?
You should shoot for March, April, maybe a little bit of May.
I was in Georgia in
gotta be
December, and it was cold enough.
You don't see mammoths living in warm areas. Well, they're dead now, but
This is, I guess, my.
but
point
in the future you might see like a rattlesnake challenge, to where you're maybe doing the same thing in the high desert.
Why don't we do it in a comfortable 70-degree area, semi-flat land?
Something temperate.
Yeah.
Wait, we're getting back to PRS now.
They already have that.
Maybe some beer cart girls.
Like golf.
Oh, we've got several female teams this year, so it's really exciting.
But you've
last year,
gone international at this point too. You
Yeah,
were telling
we've
me you've got teams coming in from all over the
we
world.
got some
at this
special forces guys coming from all over Eastern Europe.
That's awesome.
What's your
awesome.
percentage of military versus civilian shooters in this?
I'd say it's probably 45, 55. So it's nearly half.
Nice.
We've got a lot of active duty guys that come on orders.
Right.
That's
Which is
cool.
really cool. We bring in so we also do something really cool with the people on Fort Gordon, that they have a qualifying event a week ahead of time. So we'll take 4 teams out of a dozen or so, and those 4 guys get to come in and shoot. Or gals get to come in and shoot for free.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So always keeping true to the veteran culture, and always paying it forward to the ones that matter most.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds just like
It's not. It's a ball buster.
Like-
break
Yeah.
the dick off.
well, I mean, it sounds awesome to watch.
Hey, Mikey, but it sounds so awesome. How come you didn't sign up?
I'm all set, man. These colors don't run no more, bud.
So if any of our listeners out there think they're hard like woodpecker lips and can go take this challenge on, where can they find more information about Mammoth? And obviously not for 2020 because you're sold out
Sure.
rather friggin' quickly. But it sounds like 2021 is definitely going to happen. So
Yeah. So you can go to g3dynamics.com. That's the website. Or you can go to Mammoth Sniper Challenge on Facebook or all the social channels. We've got some presence out there. And I would not necessarily agree with you. I mean, there's opportunities that some of these people aren't going to pass background checks. Call me crazy.
Oh, so there you go.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
some
it
slots
does
will open
happen
up.
on a military installation.
That's right. You got to get the background
They
check.
were pretty scared to know that they're going to have last year.
You got civilians with guns on an army base?
Yeah.
Like,
They're like, you're going to be humping around with all these guns? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh. So there's a lot of hurdles to jump.
About that,
So in other words,
So, Mikey,
if you
that's why
think
you
you can go
really
do
aren't
this,
signing up.
oh, I'm retired, man. I got that blue thing. I can get on
like
base.
the Facebook page and
Yeah, follow all
check
the
for
information.
updates. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And trust me when I say it will test everything that you have.
So
That's awesome.
So there you go, Scott. You can still go.
Hey, maybe 1 year I'll do like an RO thing for you, and then the next year, if I think there's a gold chance in hell I can finish, I'll jump in.
And if you guys want to just check it out, or anybody in your listeners out there that are interested in it and have any RO experience and just want to check it out and participate on the RO side to see what it's really about, we're looking for a bunch of ROs and. So you can check it out that way.
There you go, Scotty.
Nice and easy.
Nice.
Scott, when you decide you want to do this challenge, I'll be your teammate because it's a team challenge, right?
Yeah.
2-man.
What if I actually want to
So
win?
you get
Joe?
a
Don't fucking pick me. Don't pick me.
it's a shooter and
Don't even look over here.
marksman and
No, I take John.
the other shooter.
I trained him. I know he can shoot.
Yeah, I shoot better than he does sometimes.
There you go. So I don't know, boys. I think I could probably go do like commentary.
Yeah, right. Like I think I'm with you on that. Like,
Yeah, I think
you
Mike and I would be great
doing
commentators.
Here we go. Scott and I are going to do the competition, and you two have to follow us around with the microphones and podcast
Like
equipment.
vlog it.
Yep.
I could do that.
We're all
I can totally do that.
We're all equally sucking, and we're carrying rifles and all that shit and ammo, and you guys are carrying all the podcast equipment, and everybody has their own sleep systems. That sounds like a great idea.
The first time I did it, I had my Jeep with me, and we were driving from range to range, just checking it out and watching all these poor fucks. Like,
And which is how we will do it.
Yeah, that's exactly how
And
I do.
in the Jeep you have like your auxiliary power, right? So I had a coffee maker in there. My buddy, you're like drinking coffee, like waiting for people to come up the next stage. Like, oh, that looks tough, man. That's it, blowing. Like
That's exactly the
That's
kind
exactly what's going to happen if this
so
happens.
here's the deal.
Yeah.
Mikey and I'll go provide commentary. We'll go from point to point, and we'll provide because I'm a psyoper by background. So I'll provide even more psychological distress on the shooters, like
There you go. That's exactly
throughout
what
the
they need.
competition.
There you go. Let's get
There
some
you go.
speakers. Start
Yeah.
playing like Inner Sandman and shit.
I'm just gonna play modern pop music. That's all it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
Just Taylor Swift fucking
Just the
all
whole
day.
time.
I love it when
Actually,
you call
call
me
me
senorita.
Scott and I used to do long range matches a bunch, and that's actually what I used to listen to in my headphones during the matches. It's nice and calm and soothing.
Yeah.
No.
No, didn't have it
Think
at all.
less of you.
I have my Peltors have like you can plug in the aux cable and stuff, and I'll do that at the range sometimes. I'll like put on like a Pandora station or just like hit mix like in my like Amazon Music or whatever. I'll just hit shuffle, and I'll be sitting
all
there.
Jonas
like,
Brothers.
I'll be sitting there about to take a shot, and like all of a sudden like Call Me Maybe You'll Come On. I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, all right.
At least you got some rhythm.
Yeah, right. Hey, I just met you. Ting.
How does Mammoth feel about flamethrowers?
I could probably get away with a lot of shit on that base because they love us.
I see them wheels turning. I like it when those wheels turn.
Let me get
Little fanfare.
How do you group or how do you score a flamethrower target?
Did you burn it all to the ground?
I'm pretty sure flamethrower marksmanship is a go no go exercise. I don't think it's I don't think there's like a point system.
point system?
I think it's more of a you did or you didn't.
Oh, is
I
that
got
China?
one of these today too.
What are you playing right now?
I don't know. I just got a call from an 800 number. Right?
It's China.
您好，您有一封客级快件，无人签收，将您
Wow.
今天退回。
Wrong number.
Nice.
Oh, you have a raw number.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's Hong Kong calling for help.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
That's they're like, hey
So,
man, we
look,
heard your show.
they're
We know
calling
you're
the
down to
right
help. They are. They're calling the
We're
right
pretty
folks.
apolitical around here, but I got to admit, man, those guys are they're asking for freedom, and that's I got to be
They're sitting
pro
there
anybody
meeting.
asking for freedom.
Yeah, man, I'm with it.
I think right now that's one of the best examples of some freedom loving some bitch just running around trying to get what they deserve, what they should all have.
I'm telling you, man, we should just like trade them Portland.
Yes.
Just like trade Portland for Hong Kong and be like,
Just slice off the whole West Coast.
right? Just be like, we'll take Hong Kong.
Just trade the people.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1 swap.
We'll keep the property, swap it out.
Yeah.
One for
Like just-
one.
Well,
Yeah,
it's,
dude.
more like a 4-to-1.
Yeah, I feel like we should get at least a 2-to-1 odds just because of height difference, you know?
Right, yeah.
You got to think though,
No,
man.
1-to-1 pound wise.
How would that,
we'll
how would
trade
they
you
end up back
people,
with
but by weight.
the tariff? How does that boil into the tariff if we import like?
It's more of an export.
Yeah, but then we're also importing too. Like, what's the excise on? Wait, like
What?
25 million people.
I think we should stop this conversation because I think we're going down the human trafficking route right now, and that's not legal.
I just want to make it known that I don't traffic humans.
Yeah, we do not condone
Unless it's
that.
out of the country.
What's
I was
import
thinking-
tax
Contrary to
on-
what you've seen in the news about Marines lately, we're not into that shit.
Weird.
Yeah, we can't really talk about import tax on Chinese citizens.
I was thinking of more of it like a baseball trade.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
That's fair.
I'll give you
we do
this
a-
starter if you give me
we do a
2
draft?
bench warmers and this much of a bonus. Like,
Nation draft.
Let's do like just a draft, like a draft party. Like, everybody's
yeah,
like,
that'd be great.
I want that guy. Take this Antifa
it's like-
fucker.
It's like picking teams for dodgeball when you were in like middle school, you know? I'll take the tall dude in the back and the guy with the weird hair. And you guys get him.
You get the black face mask guy.
I was reading today that everybody's up in the harumph about Antifa possibly being labeled domestic terrorist.
Well,
Say it ain't so.
I mean,
No.
by definition,
That's terrorism.
that's literally what they are. Like, if you go off the FBI definition of terrorism,
If you go off the Webster's,
Wait.
if you go off the
But what
Webster's dictionary definition
Yeah.
of terrorism,
Well,
we
it's
that's
don't,
what they
like,
are.
you know-
but we don't go off of facts and definitions.
No,
we
it's
go
all
off
about
of feelings.
well, that's how it is these days. It seems. Yeah.
Shit, if this show was worried about feelings, we'd have to shut this bitch down after episode 1.
Oh, bro,
Like,
you ain't lying.
I'm pretty sure none of us here
No.
have feelings.
I have one.
You have
I
one?
lost
I have
those a long
one,
time ago.
and he's old and he's grizzled, and that's it. He's just holding on.
I thought the one feeling that you had was sitting over there.
Now she's trying to grow me a second one, but it's just it's not really coming along. I have that one, and that's what keeps me from not going to jail.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's what stopped me in that bar. It was that one feeling that was like, you're not gonna like jail. And I was like,
When your feeling switches over to you're gonna like jail, that's the problem.
that's when we
what
run
it's-
into a hard.
That's what it's like. You know what? Jail doesn't sound that bad.
I feel like jail could go 2 ways for Jazz.
Oh yeah,
He can walk in there and run the entire place.
right.
Yeah.
Or
or I could get run by the entire place.
entire place could run him.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it would go.
Either way, you're going to be all right.
it'll buff out.
I'm either going to be very well protected or very well protected.
They're like, find the biggest guy in the place the first day and suck his dick.
or punch him in the face. One of the two. Just don't do them both at the same time. Because now you have a boyfriend.
Which order do you do that in?
Fucking
That depends on how well the punch goes.
roll them dice, buds.
Oh boy.
I would start with
man.
a punch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in
Yeah.
case.
Well, no. I mean,
You gotta establish dominance.
either way.
I think give
Like-
it up. I don't know.
If you start with a punch and it goes south,
Are we cleaning pee over there?
you're going to suck.
I think what I would do if I was in prison, I would probably act like I was a schizophrenic.
Yeah, just act fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with that. Like,
Just
just
shit on myself.
like the first
Just
day,
like
just
put it
walk
like
out with a
baseball
turd.
stripes on your face.
Walk out with a turd in your hand and be like, "Did someone drop this?" You know, like,
Oh, this is mine.
I'm just walking out holding just baby Ruth.
like, just act fucking crazy.
Yeah. It'd be great.
People would be like, "Fuck that."
Like Tim, this is the county jail. There's really
It's like, dude, you're in the drunk tank, man. What are you, you're getting out tomorrow.
You're the only one here.
You're just in processing, man. You ain't even gone to prison yet.
I don't want anybody to get any thoughts.
Establish dominance.
Just take a bite out of a turd. That'll establish it. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, on that
Yeah.
nugget of joy. Oh, wow.
Well, shit, boys. I think that's a good spot to call this little shindig. Fucking
Yeah.
Tim, thanks for coming, man.
Oh, man, it's been
we
a lot of
really
fun.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you very much.
Yeah, dude. We're happy to have you. And anytime you want to come back, let us know. Always welcome. But thanks for being my freedom friends, there, boys.
Yeah, boys.
Salute,
Thanks for being my
gentlemen.
freedom friend.
Oh, cheers.
Tim, you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
But until next time, folks, as always, smoke on, drink on, freedom the fuck on. We'll see you guys later.
Later.
Peace out.
America.